Don't miss the exciting and beautiful previews of more videos from RB Productions immediately following Grand Canyon Mountain Inside Out.
We have surrendered at your doorstep to your beauty and magnificence, at your incredible vastness and endless boundaries, at your silent, seemingly limitless depths that enter a realm of mystery and unanswered questions. We are held spellbound by your powerful river, your heart, your giver of life, the master sculpturer of a grand creation with a thunderous roar for adventure and discovery. Your colors, your textures, celebrate a creation in living rock. We are held speechless, unable to describe in one word what you are. You are large enough to mold a mountain range. You are a Grand Canyon, a mountain inside out. In 1893, the United States government designated Grand Canyon first as a forest reserve. President Theodore Roosevelt and others wanted greater protection. By 1919, Grand Canyon was declared a national park. Grand Canyon National Park is located in the southwestern portion of the United States in northwestern Arizona. The nearest major city is Phoenix, Arizona, 230 miles to the south. The national park extends 277 river miles from the western Arizona border with Nevada to Lee's Ferry, a historic site located in extreme north-central Arizona. This is but one morning of 1 year, of 1 century, of millions of years of erosion, of nearly 2 billion years of history exposed in a canyon so large it often contains its own weather. The weather changes with the seasons, and as the weather changes, so do the moods of Grand Canyon. Winter brings ever-changing diffusions of the distant North Rim cliffs rising into snowy fog drifting up the canyon. The monuments and mountains, buttes and temples stand bold and silent, magnificent and strong and proud. During winter, rock formations freeze and thaw. Ice expands and cracks, sometimes loosening entire cliff faces that fall. Later, that rock debris will be washed to the Colorado River by monsoon summer rainstorms. The journey to the river may take a day or centuries. In any event, Grand Canyon is getting wider. Another significant factor in the widening of Grand Canyon is vegetation, such as these pinon pine trees and their roots slowly prying into the rock edge. Even though the trees hold in loose rocks and soil with their roots, time is on the side of erosion, as someday the trees will die. Of course, there can be no edge erosion without an edge. That has been caused by the Colorado River cutting straight down. Prior to Glen Canyon Dam upstream, abrasive silt on the bottom of the river ground bedrock as the powerful river current moved the silt along. Gravity compressed this effect down. The river then transported the loose material away. It is this river that is primarily responsible for the existence of Grand Canyon. All the land mass that was once here has been carried away by this mighty river that drains most of the southwestern United States west of the Continental Divide. Colorado means the color red, the appearance of the water to the first Spanish explorers who named it. The red color is due to the high silt content of the water. Human perception usually underestimates the canyon's massive expanse. It does appear like a huge canyon, but there's far more to distant rims and the very far spaces in between them. What one can observe from any one vantage point is only a small fraction of the national park. Trees and buildings on opposite rims are too far away to see. There's little to judge size and scale to. Even experienced explorers have misjudged Grand Canyon's size. It was in 1540 when Garcia Lopez de Cardenas, an officer for Coronado, stumbled onto Grand Canyon while being guided by Hopi Indians, a small band in search of the fabled 7 golden cities of Cibola. The canyon halted the expedition. The Spaniards assumed the Colorado River was a stream about 6 feet wide, when it is actually 300 feet across. Men scouted for a way across the canyon for 3 days. Only descending 1/3 of the way down, Coronado's men had to turn back. The Hopis had kept secret a trail to the bottom. How can only one river do the work of excavation of that of the Colorado? Scientists cannot agree when erosion and uplifting began. Estimates range from 5 to 30 million years. During the erosion process of cutting down, the earth itself aided by pushing itself up to the relentless powers of the silty, grinding water. A huge section of the continent, known as the Colorado Plateau, slowly pushed up as the river carved down. In addition, the Kaibab Plateau, within the larger plateau, rose at an angled southward slope. The river bore through. The result is, the north rim is higher than the south rim. Mountain-spawned moisture has created a network of side canyons on the north side of the river due to water flowing downhill to the south. So, the north rim is more rugged and less developed than the south rim. A pristine-like wilderness framing an inspirational creation. Some are so overwhelmed by the sheer size and beauty, they easily overlook what is perhaps the greatest story about this masterpiece of creation. The very rock that make up its multitude of buttes, mesas, monuments, and rims, bathed in colors of reds, tans, browns, greens, and distant purples. These layers of colors are separate rock formations. The rock layers were formed during separate eras in Earth's history. The oldest, at bottom, predates any known life forms, while the younger layers near top bear fossil records of sea creatures alive before the age of the dinosaur. Geologists can read these exposed layers like an opened book of Earth history dating back over 1,700,000,000 years ago. The oldest rock found here, known as Vishnu Schist, was once a mountain range such as the European Alps, long before a breathable atmosphere. A billion years later, this became a land of shallow seas that advanced and retreated for hundreds of millions of years. From the time all the continents were connected as the supercontinent Pangaea, the climate has continually changed as the North American continent drifted due to plate tectonics. Seas, deserts, river deltas, and mountains all have a written story here with fossil remains in rock. Bass limestone in the supergroup even contains fossilized algae from a time when not much else was alive. Fossils of the first creatures with eyes, trilobites, plus other bizarre sea creatures are found in Bright Angel Shale. Early fish skeletons are found in red wall limestone, more in the Hermit Shale layer. The Supai group contains 4 major formations in itself, with more fossil remains in rock. The story of a Sahara-like desert is in the Coconino Sandstone layer. Sand dunes were compressed into sandstone by yet more invading seas, which then in turn produced the Toroweap and the more visible Kaibab limestone layers. During and after the age of the dinosaur, more layers were deposited. Still intact, further to the north, these layers were eroded away before the Colorado River went to work carving a canyon with no equal. To the eyes of the earth, the erosion was a mere blink in time, as each spring and summer seasons are a mere blink in time to the eyes of Grand Canyon. The Kaibab limestone in the middle ground is Mather Point. This overlook is perched over one of the most photographed and most recognizable landscapes in the world. Mather Point is most often the first viewing area to those entering the national park through the main south entrance. Interpretive information is displayed at overlooks by the National Park Service, pointing out geologic, climate, and plant life information pertaining to features seen. At Yavapai Point, the National Park Service conducts ranger talks about the natural history of this world-class wonder. At the east end of Grand Canyon, some of the oldest rock in the world can be seen, along with the slanted remnants of an unnamed continent that preceded Pangaea. Rim views is the Grand Canyon experienced by most. They are ever-changing in light, color, and mood, never the same, yet remain an image of world fame. Bright Angel Point on the north rim is nestled at the end of a tributary side canyon of the same name. The canyon walls point to the distant Colorado River. Desert View Tower stands guard above the Colorado River as it enters Grand Canyon to the north. The view from here is the first for those who enter the park through the east entrance. This large buttress of rock with people on top is Angel's Window. This natural bridge on the north rim is a keyhole arch formed by a section of rock falling away from a pre-existing standing wall. These overlook areas offer visual access only to a small percentage of Grand Canyon National Park, all from the canyon rims. For a different perspective, there are ways into Grand Canyon itself, but they may be uncomfortable at times. The landscape of Grand Canyon has long been romanticized by these sturdy mules and the Kaibab and Bright Angel trails. The trails descend 5,000 feet to the canyon floor and the Colorado River. They are steep, rugged routes and require a tireless animal to be able to travel them day after day. The mules, due to their breeding and training, are sure-footed and confident as they carry their often very sore human cargo on 1 or 2 day excursions. The idea of riding a mule all day to gain access to the canyon interior does not appeal to others who opt to hike under their own power. These main trails connect to a network of other, even more difficult trails leading to isolated wilderness and hidden secrets. All the more reason why the trip out is more difficult than the trip in. In the inner space of this desert climate canyon land are oases of waterfalls and clear running streams. This one greets members of a rafting expedition voyaging through Grand Canyon's innermost depths. After days of the Colorado's muddy spray, Deer Creek Falls offers a refreshing challenge to these river runners calling themselves Georgie's Royal River Rats. They answer the challenge by forming a human chain, only to lose to the water, wind, and spray. There are other numerous side canyons to explore, like Lower Havasu Canyon. Even though side canyons are tributaries to the Colorado River, Grand Canyon tributaries can be major canyons in themselves. They beckon for exploration and impressed John Wesley Powell on his first daring expedition down the Colorado River through Grand Canyon in 1869. Even now, it is only a relatively few who get to experience the adventures of running the Colorado River through Grand Canyon. As the canyon gets deeper and deeper, Earth's history is displayed in reverse chronological order. Soon, the annoying slaps of cold water are replaced by entire waves of the largest rapids in North America. Grand Canyon National Park has a wide range of climate zones, therefore vegetation, therefore habitat, and wildlife. On the North Rim, these tame, gentle mule deer delight the heart as a love affair with the Kaibab wilderness begins to soothe the soul in this quiet, pristine forest, combined with a Grand Canyon experience. It may seem like an entirely different canyon here. Because the elevation is higher, the canyon appears deeper, broader, and infinite. As high as 8,800 feet in elevation, the forest here is unlike the high desert vegetation found on the South Rim. As a result of considerable snow and rainfall, in addition to cool temperatures, the meadow grasses grow green and lush, dotted by these yellow wildflowers. The deer feed on these grasses unafraid in the sanctuary of the national park. It is fall on the North Rim. Among the Douglas fir and spruce trees are oak and quaking aspens that turn from lime green to yellow to gold in autumn. The deer will slip beneath the rim to a warmer climate zone for the winter. For now, the air has the snap of frost in the morning. At the higher elevations, plant life turns dormant for a long winter's sleep. The roots survive the coming snow. Green leaves will come in the spring. There is a closeness on the North Rim, a place of sublimity, of royal capes and imperial vistas, of solitary reflection or family unity, a place for a bright angel to witness a miracle of time. Once again, winter has returned. The seasons, the cycle of freezing, of thawing, and of erosion has come full circle, as it has for millions of years past, and surely will for millions of years in the future. No two winters, no 2 years, no 2 centuries will be exactly the same. The Grand Canyon is the greatest, most remarkable canyon on Earth, and one of Earth's greatest wonders. Its grandeur, its storehouse of knowledge, is second to none. Have there been even greater canyons on Earth that have long ago vanished to the elements of time and nature? We may never know for certain. We do know, however, there are other canyons in the universe that would dwarf Grand Canyon of the Colorado. In our own solar system, on the planet Mars, is a canyon-like feature referred to as Valles Marineris. If located on the North American continent, it would stretch from New York to San Francisco. The Grand Canyon would fit into one of its minor tributary valleys. The Grand Canyon is not a permanent fixture of Earth's landscape. The very element that created it, erosion, will someday erase all evidence of its existence. But perhaps Grand Canyon will outlive the human race. This canyon, this magnificent sculpture by nature, has been held sacred by those here before the white man, respected as an impenetrable barrier by conquistadors, challenged by humbled American pioneers, held in fascination by earth scientists, and loved for its beauty and magnificence by all others. It is truly a symbol of man's insignificance, a remarkable feature that is a Grand Canyon, a mountain inside out.
And now, here are more must-have enchanting videos from RB Productions. Exploring Lake Powell captures in all its awesome grandeur America's newest and most scenic waterland. With Mr. Lake Powell, Stan Jones, as our guide, boat into little-known canyon realms, visit majestic Rainbow Bridge, explore Indian ruins and historic sites. Seen on PBS stations across America, Exploring Lake Powell is a unique experience in home entertainment, one sure to captivate the entire family. Sedona Red Rock Country is a spectacular production featuring the majestic red rocks and Oak Creek Canyon country that is Sedona. Come with us as we explore ancient Indian ruins, fly over buttes and mesas, take a jeep ride, plus hike and horseback on the paths of history. Enjoy the splendors of Sedona and Red Rock Country in 4 magnificent seasons. Over 50 minutes of viewing pleasure, Sedona Red Rock Country is only $24.95. A must for anyone who knows and wants to remember the enchantment that is Sedona Red Rock Country. To order Sedona Red Rock Country or Exploring Lake Powell by Visa or MasterCard, call 1-800-584-7598. Or send check or money order for $24.95 plus $4 shipping and handling for Sedona Red Rock Country, or $19.95 plus $4 shipping and handling for Exploring Lake Powell, to RB Productions, P.O. Box 2546, Sedona, Arizona 86339.